Hello and welcome to the trade setup. In this video we are looking at Uranium Energy. It is time for another update and we have extended lower since the previous video. Now that is all according to our expectations since we didn't break any areas of resistance we were really tracking in the smaller time frame. And we will of course get to the details of this pattern in a moment, but I wanted to briefly go through the larger time frame for anyone of you who might be new. So here we are looking at a potentially hyper bullish interpretation where, a larger wave 3 to the upside could be forming right now, but at the same time there is a risk, a chance that instead we would be looking here at a double 1-2-1-2 setup where only just now we would have formed a top within the secondary wave 1 and the wave 2 correction could be unfolding, where in that scenario we would be looking to reach at least the 38.2% retracement for this entire wave to the upside, the $4.3 level. Now, this will remain from now on the chart as, let's say, the blue scenario that would allow this as a larger wave 1 to have completed, ideally as a wave 1 because nothing can really stop it from turning into a larger A, B, C structure, but even then, we would still be looking for an area of support, somewhat overlapping with this. And within the white structure, we will continue to track the assumption of the wave 3 to already be unfolding. Now, this would be ideal, but we cannot guarantee this to be the case, and we have already built the likely structure we have been tracking in this area, and we have had actually great success tracking it and had multiple successful trade setups, even more than 10 within this area. And now we have to start being more cautious because even if that is not the case, there is still a very good chance that this wave 1 would have formed a top within this structure and we could be looking to reach at least the area of support for this internal wave 2 correction. Now, this assumes that this wave 5 wouldn't extend any higher, which technically is still possible, but we need to be cautious, we need to be prepared to reach this large area of support in white, and it goes as deep as $5.5. Now, unfortunately, since this isn't an initial 5-wave move to the upside, we do not have automatically a high probability trade setup within this structure, even though it is a 5-wave pattern. But if we manage to form a 3-wave correction in this area, then we get an initial 5-wave move to the upside within a smaller time frame, we will be able to identify a high quality trade setup, a high quality structure. And by the way, if you want to get access to our monthly topics where we identify for you such high quality structures, you can sign up to our channel newsletter, which is completely free, and you can find the link in the description. Now, in this movement to the upside, we have been tracking an ABC structure to be unfolding initially within a smaller structure here, but we have failed to hold the relevant levels of support for a wave 4 correction to extend to even higher prices within a wave 5 in this area. It does happen that we do not get that last wave to the upside, and in the case of this structure, I believe this is exactly what happened. Now, I would still assume this structure to be valid, to be possibly complete within a wave 5, within the larger wave 1 to the upside. In the end, we were talking about a possible truncation here of a wave 5, of a wave C, of a wave 5 to the upside. These things happen and we need to be prepared for it. I, in fact, always warn you of such risks. Now, since we have broken the area of support, we can no longer look for that extension, but this green interpretation does allow for a different extension where this wave to the upside would be complete, but this wave 5 would be able to form still one more high. Now, I want to highlight strongly, this is not a high quality trade setup. Once again, even worse than what we have on the larger time frame within the white structure, within the white area of support here, because this only has a 3-wave move to the upside. It is within the possible end of a larger structure, in which case we would be looking to reach at least the first level of support for the wave 2 correction at the $10.7, and with the break of the $11.6 at the 78.6% retracement in a sustained manner, that is pretty much guaranteed to happen, pretty much guaranteed to get into this wave 2 support zone that once again, could go much deeper than this first level at the 38.2% retracement. Now, in the smaller time frame, we have been tracking this structure to potentially form an ABC pattern, and this was actually not just an assumption, but rather a strong suggestion from the structure of the chart, because we did identify an initial 5-wave move to the downside. This was suggesting to us that after a 3-wave correction into the area of resistance, which we did form successfully, we would expect at least another 5-wave move to the downside. Now, at this point, whether that holds within the green area of support or not is not up to the yellow structure, up to the yellow scenario, but rather dependent on the market sentiment and whether this larger pattern to the upside would be complete or not. Now, if you so far enjoyed this video, we would strongly appreciate if you took a moment to leave a like and subscribe, as we provide constant updates on many stocks, and we try to provide as much value as we can, and we try to be the best possible roadmap you can have here on the market, and we provide as much content as possible here on YouTube. Then if you enjoy our content and you want to support us directly, you can even check out our channel membership. Now, in this structure, we have been looking at this as a wave C to the downside, so clearly also a 5-wave pattern. This is the implication that after an initial 5-wave structure, we are looking for a correction into the area of resistance and then at least another 5-wave structure. So we have been tracking this within a couple of ideas in the previous video. So firstly, we had the $14.7 level that needed to be broken for a signal that this structure would already have a bottom in place. That would have even suggested that we would have probably needed to track a different count. Now, we didn't break this, but we also had another structure, another scenario to the downside, which would have allowed an extension of this wave 3 in yellow. Well, it so seems that we have followed through within that interpretation, and as within this wave C in the yellow structure, we were looking to build an ending diagonal. We were tracking an ABC pattern here and an impulse, more specifically within this wave C. Now, based on how this really unfolded, I could very well allow this to be an impulse. I would really have no significant issue with that, and it is within a very small time frame anyway. But the bottom line is, I would consider this to have been the actual extension of the wave 3 in yellow, and without a break above the wave 4 resistance area we will now be tracking, we cannot rely on the possibility of having a bottom in place. Yeah, maybe if we can build an initial 5-wave move to the upside into the area of resistance towards the last levels, sure, we can have a little bit more faith, but I would still like to see the signal, the break above the relevant resistance area for a wave 4. So I would be watching here the levels between $13 all the way up to $14.3. So far, we have pushed into the 38.2% retracement, where we currently are, in this very moment, which is the ideal target for a wave 4, and it seems healthy so far. We can go into a slightly smaller time frame, where, we can notice that this could even form as a double 1-2-1-2 setup in a bullish structure, This could turn into something potentially quite bullish. Doesn't need to be this exact double 1-2 setup, just an idea of how this could have unfolded. But in the end, I would still like to see the break of the 61.8% retracement. I don't necessarily trust the structure from this time frame's perspective, and we will have to let this structure unfold without pestering it too much, Now, in the larger time frame, I am watching here, once again, the $11.6 to hold to manage to extend still to higher prices within this wave 5 in white. Without this being the case, we would be looking for the wave 2 correction. So, for a quick summary, this chart has delivered great rewards to us. It has provided many great structures, especially here within this larger wave 4 correction before extending lately in this wave 5 to the upside. But it has come to a point where we need to be prepared for the larger correction to already occur. We see the weakness within this structure increase, we see the momentum decrease, we have gotten to very significant corrections connected by what seems to be very likely a wave 5 to the upside. So in the end, From an RSI perspective, we also have a strong indication. This would have been a wave 5. Now, none of this speaks regarding the possibility of a wave C to extend to higher prices, and we haven't necessarily gotten so far the sharpest correction in this retracement, but if we get a wave C to the upside, yeah, expect a sharper correction to occur. Those are actually decently common to form after a diagonal pattern to get quite sharp declines. So the only thing I would tell you to do would not be regarding of whether you should sell or whether you should buy. I would only suggest that you have a plan in place. If you have a plan that you consider acceptable, follow that. There is still some potential left here, but the risk is also substantial and there are many opportunities coming up. We have shared that in the newsletter that actually don't carry this risk, yeah? So one more thing before we end though, I would show here also once again the ideal target for a supposed wave C in this structure. Because remember, that is the 100% extension of the wave A, and while previously we weren't necessarily looking for this to be likely reached, well, this has really changed, and if we are to build here a wave 5 to the downside, yeah, getting into the $11.9 level based on the successful extension of this wave 3 in yellow, I would find that likely to be reached. Yeah, we have additional structural support here at the 78.6% retracement, but other than that, yeah, there isn't much else to add. These are the levels, this is the trade setup. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, yeah, let me know what you would like me to cover, all the good stuff, and if you want to support us once again, check out our channel membership. But for now, I wish you a nice day, and bye bye.